Welcome back to... Oh my god, my eyebrows. Elden Ring. Welcome back to my eyebrows. Welcome back. God damn, it's only been like 2 weeks since I made the last one. I hadn't posted it, but... Oh yeah, I haven't done a fucking thing yet. However, it took me a while to actually post it, but in that 2 weeks, man, I forgot fucking everything under the sun. Well, under the moon, I guess. Right. Let's see if we can... Let's just sneak around these guys, you know? I don't really need to alert any of them to my presence. I am the epitome of stealth. Let's fucking go. Fun fact, I'm recording this on Easter, which I think is when that episode 2 will come out. So, you know, he is risen. Big ups, JC. I'm just kidding. I'm not really. Oh, I took the Lord in vain and he smited me. I mean, I tend to believe in more of just like universal tendencies, not so much like a governing body, if you will, but I do believe in... Oh, shit. But I do believe that there is some kind of current of fate, if you will. I do think things that happen that are too a little too perfect for life sometimes, whether that be good or bad. You know, sometimes a couple of bad things happen in a row and you're like, oh, why me, you know? But I think that goes for good things as well. You know, it can be serendipitous how many good things happen, or how things line up to be like, oh wow, me and this person reconnected after X amount of time. You know, I think things can really surprise you in that way. No, I was trying to flatten you like a pancake, buddy. But to track back to what I was just talking about, my partner does follow some of the Greek pantheon. I know she has a tiny little shrine to Aphrodite and Athena and stuff. I put stuff at the shrine of Athena sometimes because I'm kind of a dumb fuck. So I feel like all the help I can get in terms of wisdom is good. Like I said, I really have trouble believing that it's one governing body who's like, this is my plan, this is how I want things to go, because there's just too... If that's really the case, what the fuck's going on in Palestine right now? You know? That's part of the plan. Fucking tens of thousands of people, innocent people dying for no reason. That's part of the plan. If it is, then I hate them. You know? It's like there can be, in my opinion, there's nothing that you could do to be like, yeah, well, this is the reason I had all those Palestinians die. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier for me to cope when it's just like, yeah, shit just goes wrong because human beings suck ass sometimes. I think that it's a lot easier for me to believe that. I need to stop fucking... whatever the word is. I'm fucking waxing poetic right now, and this fucking Knights Cavalry is trying to chop my fucking balls off. But... Ooh, almost fell. But yeah, that's my stance on it. Like I said, I do have some faith that there is something going on after. And I believe that because I did have a pretty surreal moment when... Where the fuck are you going? At, at my grandmother's funeral. I was pretty tore up about it. She was probably the grandparent I was closest to, and it hit pretty hard when her, I mean, and my grandpa before her, when he passed. I was like, dang, this sucks. But I didn't really I was too young to have a concept of like, I'm sad. I was just like noticing how sad everyone else was about his death. But with my grandma, I was like a couple years older, so I felt the full swing of like, dang, this is so sad. Like, I'll miss her. And I had a pretty crazy moment of, oh my god, I don't even have a freaking thing. I felt this, like everything was coming to a close, and I was still sitting by the coffin, like I couldn't leave yet, and I legitimately felt a hand on my shoulder. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I really did feel her presence there, being like, hey, it's fine. You know, I'm not lost for eternity. I found a place, and I'm good. Is the emotions I was getting. And I haven't really been sad about her passing since. Obviously, I miss her a lot. I think I'll always miss her. But that doesn't necessarily mean I have to be sad about it. Yeah, that's where I stand. I'm not really one to believe in like a set being with a whole lot of agency that's like plotting out everything good or bad that happens to people. I think that's one, it's too much pressure to put on something, because then when you start thinking like that, you start getting, at least I did, I grew up in a Baptist church and then a more Orthodox church, you know, normal kind of Christian, Western Christian church. And I'll say this, man, if you start going down the path of like, oh, there's a plan for everything, you'd think that would alleviate some of your stress, where you're like, oh, it'll work out because there's a plan. But for me, all it did for me was constantly make me question like, oh, well, I feel like a fuck up right now, so clearly I'm going against the plan. And that in itself was adding even more stress, because I was like, I'm failing myself and I'm failing God. You know, I didn't see it as, oh, this is part of the plan. I saw it as, this is a negative thing I'm doing to fuck things up. Yeah, I don't know. I've gone back and forth a lot. There's been a couple of times in life where I felt the pull to not be more Christian. I don't feel like my personality changes, or like how I treat people doesn't really change based on what I'm believing, if that makes sense. Because I don't think you should only be good to people because you're a Christian. You know, I think you should be a good person because that's the right thing to do, regardless of what you believe, you know. But there was so much toxicity in the, specifically, not to throw shade here, but at the Baptist church that I was at, there was a lot of bullshit going on. Just dumb shit. Like, for one, obviously the memories that stand out are, for this is how my brain works, but the memories that always stick out to me are times that I either felt embarrassed or, you know, shunned. Like, oh, like, you're dumb type of emotions. And to me, most of those came because I was a very curious lad. And I had a lot of questions for the Bible, like the Sunday school teachers. Questions that they probably weren't expecting from, you know, a 7-year-old or whatever. But even then, their response to me was always so awful. You know, like they would get physically angry at me for not, I don't know, blindly believing in what the text was saying. And I'm like, well, okay, you just told me 2 of every animal is on this boat. And you're telling me the lions didn't eat any other animals by the time they got 40 days, 40 nights? They didn't eat any other animals? I'm sorry, but that's you're insane if you think that's reality. But even in saying that, I completely agree with and understand the value of a lot of those stories and the points they're trying to make. Because if those stories had no value and they were just completely, or not value, if the stories had no deeper meaning and they were just a one-to-one retelling of a story, you know, I think that would be insane. Because there's too many whack things that happen in the Bible. If you've ever read the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. People standing in furnaces, people talking to burning shrubbery. You know what I mean? I feel like it's more supposed to be this fantastical saga that you can ingest and take away from it what you will. Not necessarily like, yes, if you believe in God, He will save you from burning to death if you talk shit to these, I don't remember what faction of non-believers was putting those guys in the furnace, but, you know, I don't think you're supposed to take it that literally. I think it's more of a story, you know, not a text of fact. I think it's a story. It's supposed to be a story. However, like I said, I would have questions about that, which was not the move, by the way. They really didn't like that, and so I would be punished and I would be shamed in front of the class. To my understanding, anyway, it felt like shame. They would basically say that I was a non-believer, and the whole class would giggle at me. And it's like, yeah, there can be worse forms of torment, but to me, I mean, that fucking hit me hard. I was a little kid. I didn't want to be fucking ridiculed by the entire class and an adult. To the point where they were like, you know, putting me in an area, whether it be like go stand in the corner or like go to this room and wait until class is over. And my dad one day was like, hey, why are you in here? I was like, I asked about this Bible story and they yelled at me and said I was dumb and told me to go away. And my dad was like, what? Like, you know, he was completely shocked by that. He's like, she shouldn't be able to do that, buddy. She doesn't have any power over you. It's like basically daycare where we send you, not a fucking school where people can like tell you what to think and publicly humiliate you like that. So he was mad. We ended up stopping going to that church because of that and a few other things. But my main point being, in that Baptist church, like, there was a lot of fucking bullshit. There's a lot of cliques between the other youth group kids, and there was a lot of, you know, the same stuff I saw throughout high school, where it's like, if you're willing to just be a complete cookie cutter of a person and just go with whatever, like, the most popular trendy kids are doing, then you're a popular kid. And if you like to bully people, you're a popular kid. And if you're like me, people would publicly shame you, even though none of those fucking kids believed in any of that shit. They were just going there and saying that because that's what their parents wanted to hear. And it's like, yeah, maybe they might have grown into devout people, but at the time, all they wanted to do was drink apple juice and bully people. So it's like, it's not like I was any fucking worse than any other kid in there. I just would say what I was thinking. But anyway, and my older brother said that the teenage youth group was even worse and full of just like, they were like, oh, you like metal? Like, you're gay type of energy. And it's like, whoa, dude. First of all, some of the best metal bands are Christian metal bands, so fuck off with that. And yeah, I remember how frequent it was for people to just be like, that thing is gay. That thing I don't understand or don't like, that thing is gay. It was like, I don't see why that was such a comfortable thing for everyone to feel. Anyway, so that was my beef with church, and that was my first experience, and a long experience with church was just a bunch of things like that that really confused me, and then that like kind of set the tone for how I would feel going to schools and stuff. I was like already kind of in the mindset of like, okay, if I say anything at all, I will be shamed in public. So I never said anything until I met like the first dude I was friends with. But anyway, what really gets me is that kind of what I was talking about earlier, where they hold so much weight on these parables, these stories, and yet they should be just that. Like, I don't think you should take it at face value and be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to think of another example of a Bible story. I haven't thought of them in a while. And there's some good stories in there. Like the Walls of Jericho is a great story, regardless of whether you're seeing it through a Christian context or not. That's just a good story. That's like a good. It's got good messaging. It's an interesting tale in itself. Or like Samson. I've always loved the story of Samson because I love characters like that. Just like unearthly strength, lovers quarrel, all kinds of cool stuff. That Samson has a great story. And if you look through other religious texts, you'll find very similar stories to a lot of the ones in the Christian Bible.